Hey, Facebook, what's happening? Marquise Martin Hayes. It is time for Wellness Wednesdays. It's been a minute. We took some time off and kind of dealt with things that were occurring as they occurred. So today's episode is going to be super special because today we're going to take time to dive into some of the mental wellness. I've got a special guest on the show. I've had her before. She came with the physical wellness before, Tanjie Brewer, and she is going to join us and bring life. I mean, heck, if you follow her, you already know she's amazing. Tanjie, I'm so glad you're with us. How you feel?
Hello. Hi. Good morning. Happy, wonderful Warrior Wellness Wednesday.
I told you guys weren't ready. She does not play. Warrior Wellness Wednesday. We got a new title.
Well, I know you're over there being such a cool warrior, doing your thing. Salute to all the warriors watching with us today on this beautiful day.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. So, you know me, you got to give an intro. You got to let everybody get just a general understanding. I have this little thing. It's all about the hook, right? And so, who you are and why they should sit tight for the next 30 to 45 minutes.
All right, everybody. Hi, I am Tanjie Brewer. I am all about seeing you rock your purpose with vitality. I love wellness from the inside out. It is not just what you consume. It is also what you give out. And how do we give that out is how we challenge ourselves to be more vivacious every day, because you know what, we are responsible for our energy, and we can create our energy. So I'm also a personal trainer too. So I put it down in the gym. I create energy. I help to create energy for other people. And then I'm also about wearing your purpose with vitality. So it's not just about how many muscles you have and all of that. It's all about how you bring it in the world every single day.
See, you're responsible. You get to create your own vitality. And Tanjie, people that know you're freaking dynamic. And then you just recently touched the world with a brand new expression of who you are, with your photos and your brand. Can you tell us a little bit about that, how that came about before we jump to this one? Because that is just as equally as important. I'm literally blown away. It's like, okay, wait a minute. This is a whole new world. It's a whole new look. She is here. Her program is launched. And I want to make sure that people grab a hold of that.
Well, I've always equated wellness to being so much more than the physical. So although the physical aspect of it is huge because that shows results, which we're going to get in today, right? We're talking about manifesting your wellness, right? How do you manifest that? And how does that look? And so for me, in manifesting my wellness, it does come through results with the physicality of everything, but also what it produces from the inner. So what I hope to shine through any photos that I give or whatever, it's that strength that exudes from the inside out. And it's really interesting, Marquise, because someone called me and they said, I see the photos that you're posting, but it's your words. It's the words that you're saying. That is the impact that is really hitting me. And for me, wellness is deeper than what we do in the gym, right? It's beyond the gym. And so if you understand while you're in the gym that it's for the purpose of putting it out beyond the gym, and then, that's when it becomes long lasting and fulfilling, not just for you, but for others.
That's when it matters. I love it. You're 100% right. It's one of those things that people want to go to the gym because I want to look good. Listen, let me tell you, there are some beautiful men on this planet who don't look good. Because they're taking care of their internal. And it starts there. And of course, they need to move to the gym. That goes without saying. But that inner well-being, that inner state of who you are will shine through regardless of what the outer looks like. And we need to do a better job. And so diving into this, you need to take
Yeah. You know what? That's so interesting that you mentioned that, because I think there is a lot of the body glorified, especially on things like platforms like Instagram and all of that. You have people showing off who they are, and it is so many beautiful people in the world. Sometimes I'm just like, wow, there's a lot of gorgeous people. But when you understand that this does fade, right? The physical body fades, and you have to, in order for you to really survive with that beauty, then you have to make sure that you're grounded. I often look at it as a rose. Roses are beautiful, right? They're gorgeous, but how do you sustain that beauty? And often if you pluck that rose, right, and it's no longer being watered or whatever, that rose is going to die. So the beauty of a rose, doesn't last unless you're keeping it watered. So how do you keep yourself watered and lifted in order to manifest a beautiful bouquet? And that is the question. Once you've got that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So what do you, given everything that's happened, right? Like there are people trying to figure out, I need to get in the gym, or the weights cost 3 times as much, or I'm tired of working out at home. You're so beyond that in this moment. I know we agree that's important, but what are some of those things that have been burning in your spirit around manifesting wellness, right? Like, because that sounds foreign, right? In our country, it's all about get to the gym. I mean, that's what wellness looks like, because we're always putting an image around something.
Right.
What would you say? What talk to us about that? Like, what's one thing out the gate, like people who are tuned in, the first thing they need to do, even begin the process of manifesting wellness?
Oh my goodness.
That idea of manifesting alone, blows them out. So
manifestation, let's talk about that word first. Manifestation, if you look at it in the spiritual aspect, is taking what is spiritual and making it real. That is manifestation, right? So we know that we're spirit beings, right? We have so many things inside us that is going all the time, right? Some people will manifest those things, and some of those things will lay dormant, right? So you have to connect the dots. And so spiritual manifestation, when we think about what it is that we desire, right? There are people who have gifts and talents. We are a production center, right? There is so much within us that we have to produce all the time. And so many people are hoarding their talents and their gifts. They know they have to write a book. They know they want to do something big, but they don't know quite how to get there. And they're not working on that talent. So it's laying dormant. Yeah. So I equate wellness a lot of times to, and you look at it, you're carrying the weight. Just like if you're not releasing the energy that you're putting in, you're going to gain weight, right? More calories in, less calories out, you're going to gain weight. So if you are hoarding your gifts, talents, you're not releasing things, then it's going to show up in your body as well. So what I find, Marquise, is in order, when you start the process of manifesting your wellness, you've got to first understand the whole real reason as to what is the real reason as to why I'm doing this. Is it just so that I can be another cute girl on Instagram, right? Because we were talking about that. You were saying that they're just empty shells out there. Or is it something, or is it for the reason that I can manifest my presence and my gifts and my talents in a greater way, in a heavier vibration than how you were doing it before?
So first question, why do people hoard their gifts?
Hoard, yeah.
How can they transform to that first stage of what you're talking
about? So you ask, why do they hoard their gifts?
Yeah.
I think that a lot of people hoard their gifts out of fear, because they're wondering, can I do this? What are my risks that are involved? They don't believe that they can quite do it and quite achieve it. They're thinking maybe it's not the right time. I don't have the right money. I don't have the resources. I'm not where I want to be. Some people just don't know how. It's that opportunity. They're just like, how can I do this? I just don't know. And then they don't spend the time, because you've got to do the work. In order to manifest your gifts and your talents, you've got to put in the work to really sit and listen and really fearlessly go after it. Because once you start the movement, purpose just attaches to you. But if you're not moving, purpose is moving before you, and it's just, you're missing the opportunities, right? But if you're doing forward movement, that purpose is always moving. We're in a constant movement in the world, right? So I think that's why, the number one reason that people hoard their gifts and talents. They don't know, money, all of that, They haven't let it click in their mind that I can do it at all costs, no matter what, And what was your second question?
And have a willingness to do it, right? Like, it requires a willingness to go, wait a minute, I am sitting on something, and then have
Right.
the audacity to ask for help where you don't have answers.
Yes.
I
Yeah.
had one of my buddies tell me, he said, Marquise, with all the things you're doing, it's great. He said, but you got a whole set of resources and peers and tools that you need to pull more out of. Like you
Yes.
need to tap into more and pull more out of to bring about that greatness that's inside of you. So I've been sitting still and pondering, okay, because I don't like, for some people, like they know, but they don't, all the fears and things you talked about. For me, it was like I want to make sure that if I make a phone call, I'm ready to rock it all the way out.
Yeah.
We were having this conversation on a long drive we had. He said that doesn't really matter.
Mm.
You don't need to have it all figured out. Start
Wow.
a conversation, and the rest will begin to align itself. It's exactly what you talked about. Once you start movement, then it begins to align itself.
Yes.
Things begin to come together. So, and so I was asking that around why some people forward, so that they can then begin at that first step of beginning to manifest.
Right.
Make the decision and begin to step forward.
So, and think about it too, Marquise, and everyone knows about the great Chad, who recently passed, the Black Panther.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are going through situations of pain, situations that they're dealing with, whether physically or mentally. But the difference is we all know that Chadwick was experiencing that, but he was also operating in purpose and moving forward
Right.
along the way. And so things were attaching to him, right? He still produced movies. He still did that. So how do we not allow stagnation to stay on our lives? And so I've come up with this acronym. It's called MOLD, MOLD. We know what mold is. You leave food in the refrigerator too long, it's gonna mold, right? So mold is a mountain of listed disappointments. So a mountain of listed disappointments that people allow to set on their lives. So they become disappointed, that they're not where they want to be by a certain age. I'm now in this situation, they've lost their job, this has happened. So they allow that mold to set in. And once mold, we know that mold is destructive, right?
Yes,
So when Chad may have been going through that disappointment of an ailment in his body, but he did not allow that mold to set on his life. He moved forward, and he deposited so much more than some people will live 100. Would you agree?
I absolutely agree. In fact, it was one of the coolest. Everyone talked about how his team kept under wraps for 4 years and all that. That's all great. That wasn't even the focus. The focus is what you talked about. He's like, I have purpose. There are things I need to do. There are people that need to eat. There are productions that need to go forward. There are things I need to do with my life.
Yes.
Regardless of what I'm experiencing, regardless of the hardship. And I don't even need the world to know about my struggle, because all it would do is distract. I was on the show the other day. If we had known, or people had known about what was trying to mold, that was trying to build in his life, they would have canceled opportunities.
Wow.
They would have had sympathy. He would have not had the impact. He would have not been able to help as many people as he was able to help with his life, because everyone would have been feeling sorry about the mold.
Wow. It's mold spreads, right?
Yeah.
Mold and you have
yes.
Yeah.
But in the head, for sure.
Yeah.
It's huge.
Yeah.
Yeah, his life, his life as I know it, and as others testify about it. I mean, he's the kind of person I want to be.
Yes. What did that do for you, Marquise? Because someone called me and she's like, there's a lot of Black men crying right now, crying out, because there's been quite a few that have been examples that have passed. We have Kobe, we have him, so what did it do? Did it ignite you? Did it kind of set you back? Did it disappoint you? How did you deal with that?
It's a great question. So this year has been a real challenge. It's been a real challenge. Kobe was probably, if I had idols, Kobe would have been probably 1 or 2 on the list. Chadwick modeled greatness in the moment with humility, strong as power.
Yeah.
George Floyd was a year younger than me. And so with all these crazy things happening, the Kobes and the Chadwicks reminded me that I don't know when my time is coming to go hard now.
Wow. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So, because if I'm trying to save it, prep it, get it exactly right, and all these things, then what happens is I'm shortchanging other people who's supposed to eat from me, who's supposed to be empowered because of me, while I'm in this little bubble of what I think I need to do in order to be prepared versus just getting active and going. So they've moved me forward. Coach definitely taught me that tears. Chadwick, I'm still just in shock, but I'm also inspired by Chadwick because I realized that whole 4-year thing, it really challenged me and inspired me because he's like, no, I got work to do.
Yeah.
Don't know how long I have left, and someone put a clock on my life, and I got all these people that love me. I've got to produce. And so I do believe in rest and all those things, but I also don't want to live a life of excuse, right? Like it is real, the challenge. Don't pretend.
Yeah.
It's authentic. But at the same time, I still got to get it done. So I was moved by a story.
That's excellent. I was too. It definitely inspired me. I think I woke up like very early, 5 that next morning, and I normally wake up early anyway, but I was just so charged in my spirit. And that's what we should be. You know, it should move us to action, right? It should move us to action. And so I know there are many people out there that are like, they have so much within them that they want to do. So how do you now manifest that? Because you all operating your gifts and talents truly is manifesting your wellness. Everyone thinks that it is, how much weight you're losing and all of those things. Oftentimes when you're getting your body together, it really discipline flows in the other areas of your life. I see it all the time. Some of my clients are like, now I know what I'm supposed to do. You know, they change their careers and all of those things. Yeah. And so you've got to look at wellness as a part of your next journey in life. It's your future. Wellness really is your future, who you are, you know, everything. It's all consuming. So it's not just what you eat and how hard you put in the gym. It's the total person that you give on every single day. And I'll tell you this, Marquise, I had a friend that I hope she's watching that called me, and she lost a job. And she's like, sometimes I don't want to get up. I want to just stay and curl in my corner, and I just want to stay there. You know, my kids, they can do what they want to do. I'm like, you know, everyone I think has gone through that. And I'm like, it's okay. You know, tell them to go make a sandwich, right? But while you're in that place, what are you doing? How are you making that meaningful? How are you encouraging yourself? Because we all have to get to that place where we encourage ourselves, but you got to get up. You got to get up. When I lost my mom, I remember doing a plank in the gym on a mat as tears were falling on my eyes on that mat. You know what I'm saying? I was still taking care of myself. I didn't stay on the couch. I just lost my mother, but I knew that I needed to still, you know?
Yeah. You know, it's so funny. I've heard people say, you know, stop telling people they got to do something during this time. Let people be who they are. I'm like, hold on. I understand the idea of let people be who they are, but do you realize a lot of people dying because they don't know how to move from where they are?
So
they're stuck. And they need to be on that mat in that plank with tears still falling.
Yes.
Because otherwise nothing's going to shift and the darkness settles in. I was listening to I was having a conversation with here yesterday. A doctor, she just finished a fellowship at Harvard, and we were talking, and she was talking about trauma. Yeah. And trauma is it's along the lines of when you are not one with yourself, when you're in a space that is different than your spirit, right? Your true self, you're not connected to your true self, you're connected to the situation. And when they don't match, there's trauma, because really what's happening is you're splitting yourself.
Woo.
So now should be jacked up and messed up because you're not in alignment with the truth of who you are and what you're about and your purpose. That to me was super powerful.
That is so powerful. I think when people go through a traumatic situation, how they split themselves is they allow that situation to become its own entity. It's there, right? So then they have the situation, then they have themselves. And like I'm saying, then that becomes that fragmentation. When you fuse, the situation, you recognize, you look at the situation, you got to turn the mirror, look at the situation, deal with it, that diffuses it, right? Once you deal with it, and it just propels you. You know, you allow a situation to then be a step. That's all a situation goes through. You know, but I see what you're saying. That's so crazy because people refer to the trauma all the time, and
Right.
they never end up moving forward because the trauma is always there. So how do you get what did she tell you, and what would like getting rid of that trauma? We can dialogue on that.
Yeah. So I really think it's a matter of, as you said, embracing it for what it is.
Yeah.
But so this happened, or
Mhm.
it's happening, and what's that got to do with me and what I'm up to?
Right.
Right. So people, I won't even say it that way. I often look for the silver lining, regardless, because
Mm.
going as a person of faith, if I believe that the universe and God is for me, then either it's that way or it's not.
Good stuff.
So if it is that way, then the silver lining always exists for me.
Yes.
Always something there for me. There's always an opportunity for me. There's always a possibility for me.
Say that.
It's happening to me, it's happening for me. And if that's what I believe, then dadgummit, hell or high water, that is what I believe. There is no middle ground.
Virtual high five for that.
You know what I mean? It's like being engaged in the reality of who I am.
Yeah.
Period.
Period. Point blank.
Period. It's just what it is. I may not understand. It may look worse than what it used to, but none of those things have anything to do with what I totally believe about who I am. But as you said earlier, if you haven't gotten quiet to find out who you are and spent that time,
Yeah.
it'll mess you up.
Yeah, it will. And oh my goodness, you said that word, faith.
Yeah.
That faith is huge because it is, you can't see it, you can't see the end of what you're going through. But it is, but I also believe that what we speak is so huge.
Yes.
Speaking of positivity, saying words are life. People don't realize that. Just like we eat energy, food is energy. What you speak is energy. It goes before you, it takes shape, it takes form. So the Bible says when you speak to the mountain, it shall be removed, right? You have to speak to that thing and you have to confess every single day, I know who I am, I got this. You know, those people don't really realize that confessions are powerful because they take form. We believe that, you know, this world is made of energy. The words that we say go before us. So we have to really watch what we say. You know, if people are saying, oh, I'm tired, or you say, people, you know, what's going on? Oh, I'm, you know, they're not speaking it. I mean, you have to speak it first before you can be it.
Yeah. You know what's so funny is there's two thoughts I have in mind. One is around Dr. Miles Monroe. I know we spoke about him a little bit before, but there was something else I heard recently. I don't know if we spoke about it, so I'll get to that. But then before that, foundationally, I really don't think, based on how we act, based on how we communicate, based on how we respond, that there's a true understanding that we are actual literal electricity. We're actually energy beings. I don't know that most people truly get that.
Get that, yeah.
Because when they get that we are electrical beings, then they understand that how we speak, how we think, how we move, how we breathe are all impacted as a result of these things. And like foundationally, I remember I had this hip injury. I was working with Dr. His name will click, and he was helping me learn about breathing. And we were talking about my hip had been locked from an injury that I had when I was training from the race.
Right.
And not locked like you can see it locked, but enough where I just had discomfort. And after years of trying to work with physical therapists, trying to work with body manipulators, trying to work with them to get this hip alignment loosened, 1 hour session with him.
Wow.
Focused on nothing but breathing, understanding that I am first an electrical being. I need to generate my electrical system to then stimulate my nervous system, which then opens up my physical system. Through breath, 1 hour, I was able to move my hip almost full range of motion. Significantly, drastically different than I did walking.
That's tremendous.
Fundamental understanding. And so us understanding that we're energetic beings is like not a joke. It's a real thing that we because it gives us access to so much.
That's true. And people are still actually, speaking about the electricity and we were talking about trauma, people are holding trauma in their bodies. So it manifests in their back, you know, their their posture, a lot of different areas in their body. And then of course the heart, you know, is huge. And that causes it's in the body too as well. People don't realize high blood pressure when they're in relationships that they shouldn't be in. You know,
Done that.
yeah, you know, been there. So it's just important that we guard that. How do you guard that energy and maintain
Yeah.
that health and wellness? Yeah.
You know what I do, and I want to know what you do. I let people be who they are.
Mm.
Like I gave up the need to fix people.
Wow. That's good.
I had to, because I realized, number one, I got to work on myself anyway.
Yeah, yeah.
But people want to do whatever it is they want to do, and the only person that ended up stressed after trying to work with them was me.
Well, did you keep those people around you, Marquise? And you said you allow them to be, and it's one, and I agree, you want people, you allow them, but did you allow them to stay in your space?
This is a great question. The answer is yes.
Oh,
In different capacity though.
okay.
I didn't need to remove people. They either removed themselves or I knew how to deal with it.
Mm-hmm.
For example, I want to use the word troll. So I'll just use it because it's there. I have a troll on my Facebook. Anytime something happens, he has these irrational, he just wants to only talk about the negative, right?
Right, right.
So people are like, why don't you just remove his friend? Like, get rid of him. And I'm like, why? Why do I need to do that? I'm better off understanding how someone else thinks. I don't need to convince him otherwise.
Right.
I need to let him just be who he is. Let him be who he is in the space that he is. And hopefully, possibly, me being who I am, there'll be some exchange.
Whoa, that's good. And so it doesn't change you or who you are. You realize that your energy may be needed or your presence may be needed to bring them to a different level, right?
Possibly. Because here's the thing. If everybody on my page is my friend, I'm not really enforcing or empowering anyone. There's no change happening if I just hang out with people that are just like me. I need the contrast. It sharpens me. But I also don't have to try to change it. It just is what it is while I still continue to do me. When I was trying to change it, I was making it perfect.
So,
what was robbing me?
You know what, Marquise, we're getting in this election season, right? And so I see a lot of people, they're like, if you're not for this person, delete me on your as a friend. Or if you're not, you know, then and I'm like, I've seen so many heated debates, even over teachers going back to school. Like people are like, why would you say that? Delete me, you know? But like you said, when you allow people to be who they are, and someone else's headspace is not a place for your happiness. Like I heard someone say that before. You know what I'm saying? So like everyone is different and they are entitled to their opinion, right?
Yes.
And so how do we not let their opinions become an infectious thing in our lives? Some people like take other people's opinions and it makes them so upset when you just let them be, like you said, who they are. And there's a reason you guys became friends in the first place. So what do you think about that, Marquise, with the election coming? There's such a divide around.
See, so this is fun. I love you. Actually, that's fun. So I think we are so engrossed in the system that we don't think anymore.
Yeah.
It's back to what we're talking about. We're not manifesting who we're supposed to be. So we can't focus on those things. And if we can focus on those things, then we'll be anything. In the video I put up on Monday, I'm not a Republican. I'm not a Democrat. I'm a freaking human being. That's what I am. And if I'm nurturing who I am as a human being, then I care about all human beings. And I'm doing what I can for humanity's sake. But when you are distracted and disassociated from who you actually are, then you get caught up in all these crazy conversations where if you're not for this person, then you might as well delete me. Really? Like, really? Like, that's going to make a difference, right? That's right. I understand it. But it's such a surface conversation. I don't spend much time with the person.
Yeah.
I just let people do what they want to do.
I agree, because that is energy, and that is going to create even more ball of a divide, you know? And so we have to just do our best to be as authentic as we can, right? And share as positively as we can, and then realize that people are who they are. We have something for them and they have something for us. And like you said, there's that exchange, healthy exchange.
And I'm still, and don't misunderstand me allowing people to be who they are as not having a voice. I
Yeah.
certainly use my voice.
Yeah. Yeah. Of course.
To try to nudge or influence. Absolutely. I'm not excused from that because that's a part of my purpose, right? Part of my purpose is to empower people. So I do that, but I'm not gonna sit and fight with you. It's not.
Yeah.
It's just why? If you wanna, someone said a person convinced against their will is of the same opinion still.
Mm.
So why? I just won't. But moving back a little bit to manifesting,
Yes.
really helping people really grow in that, right, in their mental wellness. One of the things that I heard Dr. Miles Monroe say, and I heard it for the first time
Yeah.
about 2 months ago. He was teaching in Dallas, and he was talking about Joseph, and he was talking about how Joseph had the vision that he would lead his fathers. Now, for those of you who don't understand, basically Joseph was the youngest. There's no way the youngest is supposed to lead a whole family. If he's the youngest, that's supposed to be the oldest because it's a hierarchy system.
Yeah.
So anyway, Joseph gets to this. You know the story. And so Joseph tells his dad. His dad's like, God said so. Okay, cool. His brothers are like, what? And so they throw him in the pit, right? But what Dr. Miles Monroe brought out was, he said, if what you see, what's happening right now, isn't what you saw in your vision, then it's temporary.
Woo! That mic drop right there. Marquise, that's pretty powerful.
So for those of you who are stuck in the space of I don't know how, it doesn't look like it, the walls are caving in, I have less than I had before, who cares? If what you see isn't what you saw, it's just
temporary.
That's free in the whole world.
Yes.
So now I don't have to be moved by it's temporary.
It's temporary. And you get excited because the change is coming.
Boom. And I don't even know when, but I'm engaged in the process of who I am and not distracted by it. As a matter of fact, one of my buddies, he saw me, I had my bike, and I was going to go film. He saw me jumping on the train because I was riding my bike that day. And he's like, I didn't know he saw me. We had this conversation later. He said, dude, when I saw you, it was like, that's a man of purpose. Ain't nothing bothering him. He's in a space of like peace and wholeness with who he is.
So
he's like, I was like, really? He's like, yeah, it was just, your aura was just like, I'm good. And truthfully, I was good. Like, all right, let's go.
Yes, love it.
I don't care about the temporary things that don't look exactly like I want, that don't look like the manifestation of all the great things. I haven't acted along Denzel or Will or any of those guys yet, but that's part of who I am, part of my expression. That stuff will happen.
Yes.
What? Or it won't. I don't have to get lost in the middle of manifesting who I am.
Because you're already there. Wow. And you know, you were talking about riding that bike, and I was thinking about distraction. And what a distraction is that you lose traction, you know? And woo! So you were moving, right?
Wow, it's good.
You know what I'm saying? And so your focus and your movement, so many people fall off course because of distraction, because they're distracted.
Man, you losing traction. That's good. That's really, really good. I hope somebody got that. You need to post that.
Well, what you said was powerful. What you said too, it's like if it's not what God told you, then it's temporary. And that is so true, because then that inspires you to go, all right, this is going to happen though. This is just something. Like, you're not giving it that much attention. It doesn't get all your energy. Like, you know what?
Tanjie, that's why I had to change, because I was losing energy by temporary things.
Wow.
And so I really take a step back now, almost 3 days, like, okay, just go here. Don't worry about that. You can fix that. Then move over here. Flow. So it's all about, keeping my traction. It's all about being able to be in flow. And if I am off track, I can't flow.
Can't flow.
When I can't flow, life sucks.
Right.
Life sucks when I can't flow. Why? Because I don't have internal peace.
Right.
But when I have internal peace and flowing with whatever it is, it's like this little phrase I always say. I want to be like the duck. It doesn't matter how high, how fast, how low the wave is, the duck just rides.
Wow.
It just rides it. No problem. That is how I believe flow should be. That to me, let me tell you a secret. Those of you out here who say you are a person of faith, the only time you actually know is when it doesn't look anything like it's supposed to look.
Yes.
And you still stay the course.
And you stick the course.
Otherwise, you don't have faith.
Right.
Like, it's that raw. You know what I mean?
It's that raw. It's true. It's that true. Like,
yeah.
Without faith, right? It's impossible to please who? To please God. And it's impossible to do what you need to do if you don't have it, because it's not going to look like we want it to look all the time. You know, we may see what God has shown us, but the route to get there, and if we focus on that only, you know, we know that's temporary because it's going to change. And you keep your joy. And I was thinking about manifesting. People hear the fruit, you know, we got to have fruit in our life. Are you producing fruit? And a lot of people look at fruit as monetary. You know, what do you have in your bank account, this or that? But also, if you look at the fruits of the spirit, it's love, joy, peace, long suffering, good faithfulness. So are you able to, you know, have that long sufferingness with your attitude to be like your joy and your peace? You got this. Or are you just complaining every time I see you? Hey, Marquise, what's up? Girl, I can't, da, 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 da. But you're like, I know it's going to happen. You're very talented at what you do, Marquise. So if you see yourself on the big screen, which you've been acting for quite a while, but right when it's almost there, then some people, oh my goodness, I just came up this nugget came to my mind. Pastor T.D. Jakes said that everybody comes to a breaking point in business, in relationships, and everything. But if you jump ship too early, you will forfeit the promise that God has for you. So you know it's going to come, and you're just staying the course, which is so wonderful to see. And it excites me when I see people like you. Oh my gosh, there he is. I'll be on the sidelines like, oh my gosh, he's got his, you know.
That's how it was with you with your latest project. I'm like, yo, she's got it. Like, you want to show her again? We got to talk. You know, everybody know what's going on. Because I'm like, that's her. She's alive. She's vibrant. She's present, stylish, and fit is in the building. What? And killing it. Like, I love that. You know, which led me to a different point. Going back to the beginning, if you're stuck and you don't know how to move from there, and I was talking about the other day, the necessity to really read and expand your mind. One of the reasons why I'm able to not quit, like you talked about with Jakes, T.D. Jakes talked about, or the 3 Feet from Gold. Like those things, those stories that I've read, that I've reread, that I've heard, like the time in the car growing up when my father wouldn't let us listen to the car radio.
Right.
The tapes of people who overcame and their stories and their tears and how hard it was, but they figured it out anyway.
Yes.
Because I have that as part of my foundation, I wouldn't dare.
Woo! Good. Yes.
I wouldn't dare.
Foundation. Yes.
Period.
Because
even if I don't manifest it fully, I didn't quit on myself.
That's good.
And I had decided, and I'll be curious when you decide. I decided for the rest of my life I will bank on myself. What I mean by that is what I feel like God's put in my heart, who I am in this world, I will always bank on it. No matter what.
Oh, that's good.
It doesn't mean I don't ask for help. It doesn't mean I don't partner. It doesn't mean any of those things. It's not about my ego. It's about trusting the gift in me.
Yes.
Period. At all costs.
Yes. That's good.
Thrive in that place of banking on yourself. And what was
Yeah. So for me, you said trust the gift. Yes, I trust that gift, and I also trust the gifter.
Yeah, absolutely.
So because I do trust, like I've seen trust God, and I've seen the manifestation of the prayers of my stick-to-itness in my life. I'm blown away, Marquise, a lot of times, and I call them the echoes of God. Like I'm like, when people come in my life and they may say a word, or I may see something happen just when I need it. You know how it's interesting. We've been going through this situation, a lot of people with COVID, and some people are doing better than they were before, you know? And I feel like this has been such an incredible time for me because I have like worked on so many things. Like I have and I know I'm supposed to share it with you, but like two great, amazing things that I've been working on so much. And so it's been so amazing for me. So I look at the situation, but I look at how, like you said, it's only temporary because we know that this is to come. And so everything that I go through in my life, I do believe when it's something challenging, it's temporary. And I'm like the gift and the gifter,
Yep.
because I'm so sure about those things,
Yep.
then I don't get stuck. And I think that knowing your purpose is power.
Yep.
So those that are searching for their purpose, all they have to do is cry out and say, God, show me exactly what it is that you'd have me to do. Cry out to God, because that puts a demand on his promises for your life. And he sends opportunities along the way.
It's good. Yeah, you know what? It's like being still long enough to listen. You can't hear if you're constantly chasing.
Mhm.
You can't hear if you're not asking,
Yeah.
sitting still, and listening. And I think that's, to me, that's been the biggest, most effective game for you to learn. Keep us busy, keep us engaged, keep us at time, so that we don't have time
Yeah.
to care about somebody else, let alone make it in our own space, let alone take care of our spirit and nurture ourselves. We're so busy accumulating wealth or accumulating things that require us to work and work longer hours, or we're running away from the relationship, so we're working more. Whatever that looks like, that keeps us from just saying,
Yeah.
I'm good. What's really going
Yeah.
on? That meditation. Let me get that clear. Let me ask some questions. Let me sit still long. Like, that has been the biggest game, and I just refuse to play that. Oh, and believe me, the guy likes some stuff. I like some stuff. I sure do. But spin some people.
Yes. That's great. Love it.
Anyway, anyway. So, all right. So I know you are doing things. You did launch a new program?
Um, I haven't fully launched.
Now, okay. All right, cool. It's coming. All right, that's cool. Because all the preview has me stoked. So we're gonna have to talk again. I'm not even worried. I'm not worried at all. I'm not worried at all. I
Yeah, I
celebrate.
always say that, God is not defined by time. We are, and we have sometimes we have all these timelines,
Yeah.
and I just believe that the vision will manifest. So you have to work towards it.
I had timelines about 5 years ago.
I know.
I
Yeah,
have timelines. Okay. I have my goals, my plans, and I'm sitting back and making adjustments and growing. But I'm
yeah.
good.
But they're still there because you're going to get there. And look how fast this year went by. Like people are like, man, 2020 has flown by, and it's like, what could you have done in a year?
Yeah.
Ask yourself that. And so now we do have more time. We're blessed with that. It's an opportunity and a blessing to wake up and have this time. So that should show everyone, wow, how fast this year went by. What can I do? How can I manifest my gifts? How can I manifest my wellness? So it really does take making a conscious effort and decision to make change, to get out, to say, okay, every day I'm going to walk at least this amount of time, I'm going to get some weights at my house instead of buying that brand new pair of shoes. Those weights are going to invest dividends, or they're going to bring dividends in your for you rather than just that those pair of shoes. So just thinking about things like that, and relating wellness, everybody, to purpose, what we've been talking about, and gaining traction in your life, making sure you get rid of distractions, and understanding that things are temporal, right?
Yeah. Yeah. The challenges and the success.
Yes.
They're both temple. I love it. One of the things you said before we wrap up, you talked about the progress and growth during this time. I'm with you. It's been phenomenal. I've learned a lot about myself.
Yeah.
I've been able to grow. I've been able to adapt even more.
Adapt. Yes.
Peace,
Adaptability.
and discover some things that I don't know if I would have.
Wow. That's good.
I don't know. And it would be easy to talk about things that didn't work out, but there'll be separate. And that's what I hope people get from today. It's like, stop focusing on what you really focus on what is and the possibilities of who you are.
Yeah.
You can give in your heart. You feel like God gave what's been in your spirit to manifest. Because unless you embrace those things,
Mm.
you hold on to the trauma, you're going to lose touch. Wow.
Truth. This is true.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Always.
Enjoy.
Great to be on.
Can't wait to have you back again. I totally love it. I totally love it.
Great.
Is there anything I can do for you?
You just keep being who you are. You're just being such a gift, and it's so great to see you continue to do your thing. So it's always an honor and just to dialogue with someone that's like-minded, that wants to build people to see them get and be better than they were before they got on this state broadcast. So
To me, when that happens, when you shine, it empowers my life. So I need you to shine.
I will do it. We will. We'll do it. We'll keep doing it, right?
Yes.
Okay.
All right, hold on. Let me say goodbye to the people.
Okay.
Tanjie Brewer, the amazing Tanjie Brewer. What else can I say? If you listen to this again and again and again, you'll get something different every time. So be sure to share it. Wellness matters, and it starts on the inside. I'm your host, Marquise Martin Hayes.